This is Johnny and Jose with Tiger Bomb MMA, and tonight we'll be going over UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Daukaus, giving you our entire thoughts, predictions. But before we do that, we're recording this after UFC 269, so we're going to give you a very quick breakdown of the card. We have some thoughts about this very uneventful card. Nothing really happened, but we'll go over it. To begin, Robertson defeats Cachoeira. Nothing surprising there, other than the fact that Cachoeira went for the eye gouge, so I respect that. But yeah, submission round number one. She tapped that 1 second to go. Randy Costa versus Tony Kelly. This was bad. Tony Kelly from the start started whipping his ass. Costa was trying to pace himself, and it did not work out for him. Tony Kelly was savage in there. Second round TKO for Tony Kelly. Next up, Ryan Hall versus Derek Minner. This one was strange. I think we both had Ryan Hall to beat Minner by submission, which surprisingly he didn't get subbed. But Derek Minner has proved once again his fight IQ is absolute shit. But the 30-27s that they were giving out to Ryan Hall, I think that was right. I thought Derek Minner took one round, got the job done for Ryan Hall, but dude, look to fade him in the future again. Aaron Blanchfield defeats Miranda Maverick. Very surprising. We both had Maverick. Aaron Blanchfield's kind of a little Khabib. I think I tweeted out that she's a Aaron Khabib-blooded Blanchfield. Pretty legit on the ground. I guess that's all you need in this division, so keep an eye on her. Won't be fading her in a while. Next up, Muniz defeats Eric Anders, first round sub. I predicted sub, but I didn't think it was going to be that easy, man. Muniz is on a different level. This dude is absolutely insane, and keep an eye on him. I mean, I don't know what his ceiling is, but so far, him getting these subs on legit guys, keep an eye on him. Jordan Wright gets knocked out by Bruno Silva. It was a matter of time. I know Silva kind of got rocked a little bit by Jordan Wright in there a couple seconds in, but yeah, Jordan Wright crumbles. So easy pick for us. Next up, Sakai. Oh, Jesus Christ. Augusto Sakai gets beat by Tai Tuivasa. I don't think Sakai is going to be in the UFC any longer. 3 in a row knockouts. That's not a good look. I thought he had all the skills to beat Tai Tuivasa, but he didn't seem interested in using any of those skills. And it sounds like I'm a bit upset, and I kind of am, because I know how good Sakai can be, and not necessarily because I had money on him. I mean, he did cost me like maybe a $5 parlay, no big deal. But dude, what the fuck? You're losing to Tai Tuivasa? I know Tai, he's getting better, but kind of bums me out, man. Pedro Munoz versus Dominic Cruz. Cruz cruises to a decision 29-28. First round was Pedro Munoz, drops him, nearly finishes him, but that recovery from Dominic Cruz served him well. Plus, not having a specific ref in there really helped him out this time. I didn't think, I forgot who was the ref this time, but he didn't want to get his ass chewed out by Dominic Cruz, who's kind of a little bitch as of late. I don't know if you heard what he's been talking about Daniel Cormier, Jose, but he's kind of been like talking a lot of shit, unnecessary bullshit, but he gets the job done. Cruises to a 29-28. Josh Emmett defeats Dan Ige. We both had it. Dan Ige got dropped in the first round. Josh Emmett keeps that 100% knockdown rate at 145. Second round went to Ige. There was a little bit of doubt that maybe Josh Emmett was going to suffer that ring rust in that third round, and Dan Ige is really good at kind of squeaking out split decisions, but Josh Emmett proves why he's still elite and why he should be up in the rankings. I want to see him fight top competition at 145 now that he's back and healthy. But yeah, no surprise there for us. O'Malley knocks out Julian Paiva. This was kind of a shock. Paiva was looking pretty good in the first round. Late in the first, so O'Malley starts letting the hands go, and he knocks out Julian Paiva. Paiva's a pretty solid dude with a solid chin, so for O'Malley to knock him out, I think he's passed that test of, you know what, he hasn't fought anybody. Paiva's a good fighter, so good for O'Malley. We'll see who they pair him up with next. Maybe Cody Garbrandt after that horrible performance against Kai Kara France. He's going to have to move back up to 135. That 125 performance was absolute piss poor, man. He looked good on the scales. I thought, you know what, maybe he's going to look good. I think he is the better fighter against Kai Kara France. But to get knocked out by a guy who, although he's powerful, he's not really the most powerful dude. They call him No Blink, but he hardly has any real knockouts as of late, other than him and Bontarin. Ooh, Cody Garbrandt, man. I know you had something to say about this one, Jose. What do you have to say about Cody Garbrandt?
Well, not about, you know what? I don't know. I'm just really disappointed in Cody. Let's just leave it at that. I don't know. I guess I don't find too much humor in Cody Glass Chin or Cody. Wait, is it Cody No Chin? Cody No Chin. Yeah, I think he's done. He's when if he gets knocked out by you know Kaikara France. Kaikara France isn't any. He's no Volkanovski. So I'll leave it at that, man. I think Cody's done. He peaked way too early. His mid early 20s, and now he's just very chinny.
Yeah, he could have been great. I know I saw potential in him, especially when he moved to where did he move to? I think he moved to Mark Henry's camp with like Frankie Edgar. He had some moments, but yeah, it seems like he hasn't really improved. But yeah, unfortunate.
He never bothered. He never bothered upping his, filling all the holes in his defense. Meaning blocking shots, moving away from shots, dodging. He should have been working on his defense, not his diet.
Yeah.
I heard one. I forgot who it was that said that he's avoiding candy now. He
Yep.
should have been avoiding shots.
Oh man. Moving on to Jeff Neal defeating Santiago Ponzinibbio. Jeff Neal's fighting as if he is comfortable working at Texas Roadhouse for the rest of his life because he was not active whatsoever. It was pissing me off. I didn't have money on Jeff Neal. I had him to win, but it was like, dude, do something. I know you're better than this. And Ponzinibbio, he shouldn't have been in this fight. He won the second round, arguably maybe the first, but it was close more because Jeff Neal wasn't active. But I will say this: Ponzinibbio is bringing back his most deadly weapon, that fucking eye poke. And he was eye poking all night, at least in the first round, if I recall correctly. But yeah, Jeff Neal. Oh, that reminds me. Saif Sayoud is yelling at him in the fucking corner, like, "You gotta fucking go out there, give me." And I'm thinking to myself, like, is Misha taking to call this abuse or what the fuck? I'm waiting for that tweet. But yeah, luckily got the job done. But Neal, he has to rank a little bit lower in my what would I call it? Not necessarily my prospect list, but people to keep an eye on. He's kind of dropping down ever since his issues with the partying.
Only have one thing to say about Jeff Neal is I'm glad he got somebody to cover his shift at TGI McScratchies so that he could make make this fight, and despite any legal issues that he has. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Next up, Amanda Nunes knocks out Juliana Pena in, wait a minute, that's wrong. Oh, Juliana Pena defeats Amanda Nunes, second round submission. Oh boy, I didn't see that one coming. I don't really know what to say without like laughing my ass off. I was having fun today, mainly because Amanda Nunes lost. I kept tweeting like, "What's going to happen?" Because Kayla Harrison's there. If Juliana wins, is Kayla still going to enter the cage and challenge the champ? Probably not. Man, Juliana, there was this bit of confidence in her that kind of gave me some doubt. Like she was so confident, like she knew something, and there were so many doubters. My dumb ass did not put that bet in. I was so busy this whole week that I didn't have a chance to really put as many bets as I wanted to, which would have been like $20 on Juliana, which would have given me what, maybe $100 or so, some nice little profit. But yeah, Nunes taps out without having a choke locked in and no hooks in. That was really bad. It was pretty poor. Like she blew her wad. I always had my doubts about Amanda Nunes at 135. Like her having to cut down weight. She doesn't have the same pop in her punches. 145, she looks like a killer. I think the fight with Cyborg really put her over that edge. Like, oh my God, she's the greatest fucking female fighter ever. And I never saw it that. It's just more so that there's no other female fighter. But yeah, Juliana Pena defeats Amanda Nunes. Good for her. I'm happy for her. I really don't think there's going to be another rematch. There shouldn't be. I say just make Valentina versus Pena. and then we can celebrate the new women's GOAT officially, the new champ, Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, until Valentina challenges for the 145 belt as well. So she'll be the champ. Unless she decides to go down to 115 and beat the hell out of
Rose. No, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, well, I think she can beat Rose. I think she can beat Rose, Wei Li, you know.
Oh, she'll destroy him, but I don't see her making that weight cut. I don't think it's worth her time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it'd be funny to, you know, see what comments she makes about being, you know, rather be dead than red or something. I don't know.
And finally, the main event, Charles Oliveira defeats Dustin Poirier. Round number 3. Round number 1 was action-packed, super fun. Dustin really hurt Charles. I was worried for Charles for a bit because I had Charles to win. I had a bet on him, and he did me well. I always talk shit about Charles Oliveira, his willingness to quit. Justin Gage even brings it up that they're still quitting that boy, and I think he's solidifying it now that like he's not this guy anymore. Like when he was in trouble against the cage with Poirier, he went for the tie plum, started blasting knees to the body, went to the grappling. He did very well, and I was glad to see it. Dustin, on the other hand, he looked a bit overrated. Like he's no longer the same Dustin that he was in 145. I know if you think about it, like he has submissions at 145. He's a black belt, but I think right now he's not the same dude. He's ballooning up. He's 170. He's cutting weight to 155. He's primarily a brawler. He relies too much on the power, and I thought that Oliveira was going to be the more dangerous guy, especially on the ground, and he proved it. It sucks that Dustin lost. I know a lot of people didn't want to see that. They didn't want to see either fighter lose, but it just, to me, made a logical sense that the underdog, Charles Oliveira, the champion, was going to maintain that belt and that winning streak. I did have to talk a little shit on Dustin Poirier. I said that he pulled a Louisiana laydown in that fight because he gave up that choke pretty easily, man. Like for a black belt to keep getting choked out like that. I know they're top level fighters that he's fighting, but dude, what the fuck are you training? He gave up the second round and did not want to get back up against Charles. I think my thought process was like a lot of people thought. I think the commentator said that he didn't want to really tire himself trying to get back out, just lose the round and come back. But it didn't seem to work. It looked like he was already tired, that or he might have been hurt. But it's like, dude, he didn't make the effort. He kept talking about like 25 minutes for eternity because he'd be a champion forever on the books, but he didn't seem that eager to win. So I think the Conor money might have just made him, unfortunately, Conor-esque, where he's not focused as much anymore, and his fingers are in too many top pies, like the hot sauce and the fucking charity and whatnot. So we'll see what happens with Dustin. I'd like to see him fight Bobby Green again, dude. I'd love to see him fight Bobby Green. I don't know if that's in the realm of possibility, but I'd love to see that rematch.
That was going to be my exact comment.
Nice.
He's suffering from the McGregor effect, where he got a little bit of notoriety, a little bit of money, you know, a little bit of fame. And by little bit, I mean as little as, anybody can possibly imagine, because he didn't blow up like Nate Diaz or anything, you know. He did, you know, he is like kind of recognizable, but, you know, the casual fan's going to be like, who the hell, you know, who the fuck is this guy? But yeah, he just looked pretty soft, man, to be honest. He didn't look like the Dustin that came in against Hooker. Yeah. You know, he didn't look like the Dustin that came in against Gaethje and whatnot. He just looked pretty soft. He was like on his high horse or high chair or whatever. After beating McGregor twice, he thought, oh wow, I beat the best. You know, he didn't beat the best guy. He just beat Moneybags McGregor a couple times, and yeah, he wasn't ready for Charlie.
I agree. I think Charlie's at this point, he's more willing to take a lot of risks in there to maintain that championship. And it didn't seem like Dustin was. And I feel bad kind of kicking him when he's down. Like, I know he's never going to hear this, but I think he needs to get back into the swing of grappling, because the more willing he was to grapple with Charles, although that might have spelled disaster for him, but it would have put him in a better position to actually hurt Charles. Like, Paul Felder really fucked up Charles on the ground with those elbows. So yeah, man, I think Dustin needs to get back to the grappling. I think he's just so content being a brawler, and
Well, it's not. Yeah,
yeah, it's
I,
not the
I
best for
don't.
him.
I don't think it's just the grappling. He needs to get back to like hardcore training. Like more cardio, some defense. Yeah, yeah, including the grappling. He needs to get back into fighting shape. He didn't look like he was in fighting. He's kind of like Amanda Nunes. They got a little bit soft.
Yeah,
Nunes more so, I think, because Juliana Pena is not the female Charles Oliveira. Let's just leave it at that.
I think Nunes did the Brazilian quit job. She just said, "Fuck it, I got
Yeah,
another belt I can share." I don't know. Like there's certain fights sometimes where I look at fighters and I know exactly what they're thinking. There was one recently where I'm like, this guy just quit. I just saw it in him. He thought to himself, I already lost. Oh, it was actually Costa. Now that I think about it, I saw Costa in there and I saw in like the second round, I'm like, he just quit. He understood he's not going to win this fight. He's not going to win the third. He's tired. And then he got taken down and beat up. And I'm like, oh man, it sucks to see that. But that's the same thing that I saw with Amanda. Like I started recording, like I sent you that video of me like laughing my ass off with those stupid glasses. I started recording that when Juliana took her down, not knowing that the finish was coming because I knew like she's gonna probably quit. I'll take a shot, one take, and yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyways, dude, like for Charles, we get to see him against Gagey. We'll see what Gagey has to bring to the table. I'm interested
there's
in that
nothing.
one. Well, actually, I think Gagey provides more than Dustin. I think Gagey's more of a dog, although he's more likely to get knocked out or hurt on the feet. Choked out, perhaps. We'll see.
No,
I think
I,
Charles can
I,
jump. Well, we'll wait. We'll wait to break it down when it happens. But I
yeah,
think there's it's
I
interesting.
have my, yeah, I have my prediction already. I'll tell it to you off the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, that cross-eyed ginger, I don't think he's getting past blonde du Bronx and his blonde du Bronx. I don't know. One last thing to note is that his whole team was blonde tonight.
Oh man, that Super Saiyan power.
Yeah. So blonde du Bronx, I think, is superior to the cross-eyed ginger, ginger baby.
Well, let's start breaking down UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Daukaus. I will let you know right off the bat, I haven't done as much research as I'd like to. I have done some tape watch, but I was super busy this week doing man shit. I was remodeling a bathroom and it kicked my ass. So I'd like it if you catch me slipping, leave a comment. Also, that reminds me, dude, our last video for this UFC 269, it hit like 3,000 views, which is like ridiculous. Like I'm content with like, 500 or so around that amount. I don't really necessarily care as long as I get the comments. But I must have done something. I don't know if I appeased China in some way, but we got blasted with views. So if you're coming back and you're listening, we appreciate it. Thank you for the support. If you left a comment, new subscribers, we appreciate it tenfold. Thank you very much. And hopefully we provide you with some good commentary, some laughs. And yeah, let's break this down. Raoni Barcelos versus Victor Henry. Victor Henry took this fight on short notice. He is pretty significant. What would you call it? Veteran of multiple different organizations. He's finally coming into the UFC. He did it the long and hard way. Ha ha ha, long and hard. But yeah, currently I don't have any odds for this particular fight. It's a risky one for Barcelos. I think Barcelos, although his last fight against Timur Valiev was a bit suspect. I mean, I still say that he knocked out Timur Valiev in the second round. He blasted him with vicious shots, but he somehow survived. The referee let him continue, but he did not look all that willing to win in that particular fight. I don't know what it was that night. I'm willing to take another shot on him. I think he is the better fighter. Victor Henry, man, he's going to come in here and he's going to try to do some damage. The guy has a pretty good mixture of knockouts and submissions. They're both older gentlemen. Well, not necessarily super old, but 34 years old at bantamweight. Their time's running out. Victor Henry coming into the UFC, you know he's going to want to make a splash. I just don't think this is the right opponent, unfortunately for him. But I will go with Barcelos to win. I think eventually he'll probably crack Victor Henry. And I will say it's probably going to be a super entertaining fight, but I'll go with Barcelos to win this one by a second round TKO.
Yeah, 34 at both of them. At wow, it looks like they may share. Oh no, never mind. They don't share a birthday. They almost do, I guess. But yeah, 34 years old in the bantamweight division. They may as well be 44 years old. They're like 10 years past their prime in this division. This is, I don't think this will go well for Victor Henry. Yeah, I think Barcelos' UFC experience is going to come into play here. While he doesn't have the greatest, he hasn't fought the best competition. He did beat Anur Magomedov almost 2 years ago. And he did, well, I mean, he lost against Timur, but it's not like he got, rocked 5 months ago. Yeah, I think that's enough time for him to get over that and, keep the train rolling. So I think this is going to be a W for Barcelos, for Victor Henry. I'm glad, good for him that he made it to the UFC. But at 34 years old, I don't know how big of a splash he's going to make in that division, because that's the bantamweight division. I think is like for 30 and under, 30 and under year olds. I don't know if that even make grammatical sense, but basically for guys in their 20s, it's meant for the really quick guys. I think at 34 years old, they're not going to be. I don't see too much success for them. But who knows? I may be proven wrong, and we may be looking at the next champion. But I'm also going with Barcelos.
Next bout at bantamweight, Raquel Pennington versus Macy Chiasson. And currently the odds for this one have it in favor of Raquel Pennington, minus 190, come back on Chiasson, plus 160. And I think that's the right call. I think Chiasson, although she is improving, I don't think she is all that great yet. She's 7-1 compared to the 12-8 in Pennington. Pennington, she's still 33 years old. You would think she's older than that because we've seen her, in the cage for a long time, going way back, I should say, from like the days in the Ultimate Fighter. So now she doesn't have the greatest record, but she has been improving. She will be at a significant reach disadvantage, as most people are against Macy Chiasson. She's also going to have a height disadvantage. Chiasson is 5'11", Raquel Pennington 5'7". The reach disadvantage about 4.5 inches. It's an interesting bout. It's going to be a split decision the way I see it. Chiasson, she really likes the ground and pound. Pennington, she really likes to hold you up against the cage and do her work there. Her boxing's pretty solid. That reach advantage is kind of null and void against Pennington because I don't really think Chiasson has the greatest boxing or greatest stand-up. It's tough. It's one of these fights that if I pick either fighter and I lose, I don't think it should be held against me. I will go in this particular case against Pennington. I think that experience is really going to come into play against Chiasson. The last time we saw Chiasson lose, her only loss against Lena Landsberg, a fight that most people thought she should have won, but she just couldn't get the fight to the ground. Pennington's been in there with the former GOAT, Amanda Nunes, so that should mean something. So I'll go with Pennington to win this one by a, of course, decision.
Yeah, this isn't. I don't anticipate this being the most action-packed fight of the night. I think it's very wise on their part to put this at the very bottom of the card. If anything, I would have put this. I would have made this a prelim. I would have made them fight before before even the crew gets there. I would have made them fight in the parking lot or something. Not really much to say. This is women's MMA. Does after Nunes losing tonight, does Chiasson have a shot at winning? Probably. Is it going to be a huge upset? Not really. I would say the only one who's upset here is me because this fight's even on the card. But yeah, I'll just go with Raquel Pennington by decision. Probably 29-28. I'll say Chiasson maybe gets the second round. She gets her down for a little bit. Maybe get some ground and pound, get some ground control. But other than that, Yeah, I don't think this is
It, it's pretty unpredictable, isn't it? It's very up in the air.
somewhat, but mainly I just, it's women's. This is like this isn't one of the premier women's MMA fights. Just leave it at that. I don't want to be insulting or anything, because I mean, Raquel Pennington, she's kind of a hot girlfriend, so I'll give her that.
I will say this is one of those to smash the will go the distance prop. But moving on, middleweight, Gerald Meerschaert versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Currently, the odds have it in favor of Meerschaert, minus 225. Wow, the chalk on Gerald Meerschaert. That's incredible. Dustin Stoltzfus, plus 185. I think there might be a bit of value on Stoltzfus, but based on how I'm phrasing this, I think Gerald Meerschaert is the play. I will say this. I'm going to keep this one short. Meerschaert, we know what he can do and we know what he can't do. And there's some shit that I don't even know anymore. I thought he couldn't take a punch because I bet Muradov to finish him. And he was eating those punches just fine. And he takes him down and he submits the huge favorite. And then I didn't know what the hell to think anymore. Fuck, man, just reliving that experience fucking sucks, dude. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Gerald Meerschaert has a chin now. It boggles my mind. That's what the reason I said there might be some value in Dustin Stoltzfus. He's on a 2-fight skid. He's losing to some pretty solid competition. Lost to Chris Daukaus, lost to Rodolfo Vieira. He's not a bad fighter. He's just fighting dudes that he maybe shouldn't be fighting quite yet. He's very young in his career, 13-3 compared to the 33-14 of Gerald Meerschaert. That experience is ridiculous, and it's almost unfair for Gerald Meerschaert to be kind of bullying this kid. Although he's 30 years old, he's not necessarily a kid. My concern is, although I think Gerald Meerschaert is live for a finish, really good kicks to the body, excellent submissions, man. This guy has I think he has the most submissions in middleweight history, for fuck's sake. GM3, Jesus. The thing is, I think Dustin could possibly catch Gerald Meerschaert and knock him out. It just doesn't make sense to me that his chin is fine. Like, I don't know what the hell Muradov did. Was he tapping him lightly? Was he like did he bet himself? Like, I'm going to knock him out in the third round so I can make them more money. And he just didn't want to knock out Gerald Meerschaert. And then he ended up getting tired, not knocking him out. I don't know. But I think Dustin Stoltzfus, with his 2-fight losing streak, I think he's live for a knockout. I think he needs to try to win this fight immediately and get rid of Gerald Meerschaert ASAP. But I cannot necessarily go with him. I think Meerschaert is the better fighter. I just will not be surprised if Dustin Stoltzfus finishes Gerald Meerschaert. I think Meerschaert has taken a lot of punishment. And again, I don't know what happened that last fight, but I think he can be quite fragile in there with the right touch. But I will go with Meerschaert to win this one. I want to say by decision. I don't think he'll necessarily finish Dustin. I think it's possible that he can. It's not out of the question, but I think it'll go to the decision. But again, man, I've got a funky feeling that Dustin's going to knock out Meerschaert. But official play, Meerschaert decision.
I'll keep this one short as well. This isn't going to be the greatest fights. Gerald Meerschaert showed us what he's all about against Chimaev. He didn't get knocked out. He just decided to give up really quick. And then he fought Barcelos and Mahmoud. And so, Stoltzfus has been, he didn't let his fans down. I think he just let himself down, with his 2 fights in the UFC. I think this is probably going to be his last fight. I think he's going to get cut, after losing. Anybody that loses to Gerald Meerschaert deserves to get cut. And I think Dustin, we're going to see the last of Dustin Stoltzfus, unless this guy's, been playing that Rocky, Rocky 4 training montage, like on a speakerphone or, like on a Bluetooth speaker or something in the gym every day. But yeah, not really much to add. I'm going with Gerald Meerschaert, not because he's good, but just because Dustin isn't, he just isn't good. I don't want to insult the guy, so I don't want to say anything mean about him because seems like a nice guy. Maybe he'll I don't know. Maybe he'll end up on the where's this guy from? Oh, he's from the U.S. Okay, I thought he was from like Russia or something.
I think his parents immigrated. He sounds, I think if I remember, he
Okay,
was Russian or German. One of the, I can't remember.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just noticed nationality U.S. Okay, well, good for him. Let's hope he
That's
has like
funny.
a real, let's hope he has like a real estate license or something to fall back on.
Next up, flyweight bout. Sajara Eubanks versus Melissa Gatto. And currently the odds are in favor of Eubanks minus 220. Come back on Gatto plus 180. Interesting bout, flyweight bout. Eubanks, she's pretty strong at that weight class, as she showed against her win, on her win against Elise Reed. I just don't necessarily like betting her at those odds, especially against a girl who's really good off of her back. Melissa Gatto, I have my doubts about her, but she did well against Victoria Leonardo. Oh, she actually broke her arm. Jesus, I forgot about that. This is the one woman who submitted Carol Rosa about 3 years ago. Um, this one's tough. You can kind of hear in my voice. Like I really don't know how to go with this one because I don't necessarily have. I don't want to say the word respect. Of course, I respect every fighter who goes in there. I just don't have the level of confidence. We'll go with that word in either lady to make an educated pick on. Eubanks, she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's got great top control. She's very strong on top. Her striking's okay. She's got power. She's going to be at a 2-inch reach disadvantage, a 1-inch height disadvantage. I'm trying to logically play this one in my head. If Eubanks is to win, she's supposed to avoid any submission attacks off the bottom, which I think she's strong enough to do so. But that cardio is going to fail her eventually if she is grappling too much with a very active person on the ground off of her back, Gatto, that is. And if Gatto wins this one, it's going to either be with a sneaky submission, like maybe she takes the back, jumps for a rear naked choke, very Oliveira esque, or if Eubanks gets tired and it's come the third round, either she takes her back, takes her down, pounds her out, gets the choke in. It's tough for me to make a pick in this situation. Go with the dog. I'll go with the dog money. Melissa Gatto, I will say third round finish. I will say TKO. I think she's more prone to just knock out Eubanks than she is to maybe submit her. I think if she tries to go for the choke, maybe she'll fight the hands well, hold on to the gloves. Who the hell knows? So I'll go with a TKO third round. Not confident though.
Yeah, this is one where I'm actually going with the odds, or rather, I'm having the odds lead the way to my pick. And by that, I mean, looking at Sajara Eubanks, she's minus 220. That's insane. Who the hell would put
Oh
money
God.
on Sajara Eubanks minus 220? I wouldn't put money on her if it was like even minus 120, even a pick 'em. So that alone, I think, gives gives Melissa Gatto or gives her side, I should say, the value as far as the betting odds are concerned. Um, yeah, that's really the only thing I can see here, just because Melissa was away for a really long time in between her last fight and beating Carol Rosa. Um, yeah, Victoria Leonardo, she's not really the best competition. Either is Sajara Eubanks, but Sajara has shown, she's in there, mainly being, I don't want to put too much stock in her beating Julia Avila. Julia Avila is just, I don't want to rack my brain trying to find, a different word for her. Anyway, forget her.
The raging simpleton, but substitute simpleton for a different word starting with R.
Bitch, yeah. Um, she, yeah, man, that's really the only angle I can see here is the value, as far as betting wise, with Melissa Gatto. I mean, if she becomes a bigger underdog, I'd say wait, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of money coming in on this fight anyway. But if the odds are still at plus 180, I think there's some value there, but then again, this is women's MMA, so you want to stay away from it because anything can happen. It can go to a decision, or Eubanks can come here and dominate her on the ground and get a submission. Who the hell knows? This is just too big of a question mark. But I would say her youth, the fact that Tapology is using a pretty hot picture of her, and the odds, I would say I'm going with Melissa Gatto by let's do submission by Kimura, second round.
Next bout, featherweight Charles Air Jourdain versus Andre Ewell. I think this should be a pretty entertaining fight. Currently, the odds have it in favor of, this is the first time I'm looking at it, Charles Jourdain minus 200. Come back on Andre Ewell is plus 170. Man, is it me, or am I going stupid because I see value in Andre Ewell, although he's currently on a 2-fight losing skid. Man, he's pretty good at winning fights. I mean, his record's not the greatest. It's 17-8. He's beaten some good competition, decent competition. I guess his best win as of late is Jonathan Martinez, but he lost that fight. I think maybe I'm just being stupid. I think Charles Jourdain, maybe I'm just really disappointed in Charles. He was supposed to be, I think, better. I don't want to say he's supposed to be like X fighter, like a GSP or a new Connor or something. I don't think we ever had those expectations for Charles, but we expected a little bit more than him losing to Julian Erosa. It's like, dude, you were supposed to go in there and knock him out, and he submits you with the Darce choke. It's not the best. Like, I saw his fight with Marcelo Rojo, and I thought, man, this new Charles Jourdain, the guy who's willing to put it all out there in the third round, dude's a savage. Yeah, man. The reason I kind of see value in Andre Ewell is that reach advantage. He's going to have, 6 inches of reach on him. He's not going to be taller in there. It's kind of close for me. Like, I think Charles Jourdain should win, especially at those odds. Attack the body, attack the legs, move around. But if Andre Ewell starts blasting him with those beautiful 1-2s at that long length, it might be interesting. Charles is not the most durable guy. Like, he's tough, but he's not the most durable guy. Neither guy is. I think there's more of a likelihood of Charles Jourdain winning it in 2 to 3 rounds, but there's a possibility that if you want to take a shot on Andre Ewell, maybe take it by decision. I don't think he'll finish Charles. So I'll put it that way. I will go with Charles to win a second round TKO. I think he's going to attack the body, those teeps to the body. Andre doesn't really like it. Maybe knees to the body, kicks from the outside. I think that's going to benefit Charles Jourdain. But, if you want to take a shot on Andre, you'll go with that decision prop. I think with that reach, it might kind of stifle Charles a bit. Getting a jab constantly in his face, he might not really like that. But I'll go with Charles second round TKO.
I think you hit it right on the head. I think Charles is diversity in attacks, specifically his kicks to the body, to the legs, and maybe even feints to the head, are going to stifle Andre. Andre's going to use his distance, his footwork, as well as his boxing, to try to get the edge. But I think Charles is probably going to come away with a 29-28 decision here. I think there'll be some back and forth action for a second round, but then they're both going to be kind of tentative in the third round. Yeah, I don't want to lose more than I want to win. I don't know if that makes any sense, but these aren't the guys who go in for the kill. I think they're both, well, more so Andre. I think he's coming off 2 losses. He's going to be a little bit hesitant. He's going to want a win versus like a spectacular win, just to break up his 2-loss skid. And then Charles Jourdain, I think he also wants to recover. It's I think less urgent, but I think they're both coming off losses either way. So I think they both just want to come away with the wins. So I think they'll be extra careful, and it'll be just like it'll turn out to be an okay sparring match. I don't anticipate it being a barn burner or anything.
Next bout at heavyweight, Justin Badman Tafa versus Harry the Hurricane Hunsucker. I've been kind of harsh on Hunsucker. Like jokingly, I call him bum sucker because he's not the best fighter, and I'm glad he's in the UFC. But realistically, as I read these odds right now, in favor of Justin Tafa minus 335, for Justin Tafa to be that high against you, kind of gives you an idea of what kind of fighter Harry Hunsucker is. He's currently plus 260. He's a fun guy to watch, man. Like his Tapology shows him having two belts. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if he got those off of like the vending machine or some shit, but um, he's not too bad. Like I give him a lot of shit. I joke around a lot, but if ever there's a UFC fight that Harry Hunsucker wins, it could be against Justin Tafa. Um, I just think Tafa takes it. I think they're giving him a kind of a layup. They're saying, "Hey, your fellow Aussie knocked him out in Tai Tuivasa. Would you also like to knock him out?" And they're like, "Sure, give him to me." The thing about Justin is that I think we've discussed it. He tries to be like Mark Hunt, but he just doesn't have it. He drops the ball a lot. Like his only win in the UFC? Yeah, his only win in the UFC was against Juan Adams, and Juan Adams is no longer in the UFC. That dude's yeah, he's no good. Carlos Felipe kind of outpointed him after he was winning the first round. And then the fight against Vandera. And we know Vandera is not the best fighter. And if Vandera is able to outstrike you on the feet, dude, come on now. I will go with Justin Tafa. I think he's tough. He hasn't been really knocked out other than that one occurrence against Jorgen De Castro where he just caught him coming in like a dumbass. In this particular fight, as long as Justin is, how can I put it? He's defensively sound against Harry Hunsucker. I think he's going to come in here like a hurricane trying to knock you out. He's not bad. He's not a bad fighter. It's just that, unfortunately, he's fighting at heavyweight and his chin is not the best. And I can see him possibly hurting Justin Tafa. There's a chance that this happens. It's heavyweight, but realistically, Tafa really needs this win. I think he's going to be really anxious to get in there and get the win by knockout. So I will go with him to win this one by not necessarily a first round knockout. I think the first round's going to be for Harry Hunsucker. And then later in those rounds, round number two, which I'm predicting Justin Tafa eventually finds him maybe an uppercut or something because Harry does tend to slow down. Harry also lost to Jared Vandera, but he lost more devastatingly. So I'll go with Tafa to win this one by a second round knockout.
Yeah, looking at Tafa's record, the only, I would say, well, not the only thing, but one of the things that sticks out to me is his loss to Carlos Felipe by split decision. That's not a good look considering, Carlos Felipe isn't exactly top 10 or be fighting for the title, in any century. So this is another one where I'm looking at the odds, and I think there's some value in Harry Hunsucker, but this is sort of the equivalent of women's MMA where you want to stay away from because this is not, this isn't, yeah, man, this is not an elite heavyweight fight. Um, yeah, this one's kind of tough to predict. I mean, what Justin Tafa has going for him is the fact that he's from Australia. So there's, and the reason I say that is because everything wants to kill you down there. There's like giant spiders, there's poisonous spiders, there's
The government.
poisonous snakes, there's, yeah, the government, like even kangaroos. There's like, I've seen videos of like super buff kangaroos, man. I don't know what the hell they're feeding them down there, but there's like kangaroos all over the place and they're like flexing on you. It's weird. It's like the kangaroos, they like hop like right up to you and then they start flexing and like, puffing out their chests. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, even the kangaroos want to kill you down there. So the fact that he survived, to 28 years old means that he's a warrior. That's really all I got on this. Harry Hunsucker, I don't know. I don't think there's much value in either side. Even if Justin Tafa wins, I would stay away from this. This is not anything you want to include in any parlays or even, yeah, I'd say stay away from this. I'll be going with Justin Tafa by decision, reluctantly, but don't confuse Justin with Mark Hunt or even I don't want to say confuse him with Tai Tuivasa anyway, because they both have the same figure. They both have those giant Samoan love handles, but Um, yeah, I'd say. Well, I'm picking Justin, but yeah, again, this is the equivalent of women's MMA. I'd say stay away from this.
Next bout at lightweight, we've got a fight between Matt. His nickname is Robo. Matt Robo Sayles. That kind of threw me off because I saw that R looked like a different letter. And Jordan Monkey King Leavitt. Currently, the odds have it in favor of. Well, actually, it's a pick 'em -110, -110. Interesting. The odds kind of tell you the possible outcome of the fight. It's going to be close. It all really comes down to how Matt Sayles looks after being away for what, almost 2 years. I'm not certain what caused him to be in that long of a layoff. If you can let me know in the comments, if you know. Again, I haven't really done a whole ton of research like I normally do. But for Matt Sayles, from what I recall of him, he's a pretty decent fighter. He's no expert, or he's not necessarily how can I put it, known for one particular thing other than maybe his striking. His grappling is okay, but Bryce Mitchell got him in the twister, which it's a great submission, but if you don't see it coming, come on now. Jordan Leavitt, his main thing is that his striking sucks, but his grappling's pretty good, but not great. He's not great off of his back. Claudio Boyes really demonstrated that. It's really close, man, in my opinion. I'm going to say stay away from this one. Maybe wait to see how Matt Sayles looks. The path to victory for Leavitt is, of course, dominating on the ground. From what I know of him, what we've seen, he's good on top. He's very dominant on top. If he can continuously get the takedowns, I think he makes it easy on himself. He doesn't really extend himself. He goes for the submissions. He's pretty solid there, but his striking needs work. He's not comfortable yet. I think Sayles could really exploit that if he can stuff the takedowns and just kind of batter Leavitt on the feet. If he does get taken down, just work your way back up. Take the underhooks. Underhooks are huge because he's at Alliance MMA with Dominic Cruz, so I'm sure he knows the underhooks. It's a tough one. I'll say wait till weigh-ins if you have an opinion on it. I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to stick with Jordan Leavitt. Hopefully he's made the correct improvements. Dude's pretty young, 26, 27 for Matt Sayles. It's not even worth really live betting either at those odds. There's no like benefit to it. I'll go with Leavitt by decision. It's close for me though. I'm not incredibly interested in it, but I am more interested in seeing how Jordan Leavitt has improved, if any. But I'll go with Leavitt by decision.
Yeah, this one's. Oh, I'll say this. Matt Sayles got his nickname in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, so I think that makes a little bit more sense. Right. So he's Bobo.
Oh God. Took me a minute. I'm like, wait, what? Did I just misspeak and say that he's a striker, but he's actually a jiu-jitsu expert? I'm like, I don't think so. But I'm like, oh, I see. He's a bum, is what you're calling.
Pretty much.
Wow, I had to explain the fucking joke like a dumbass.
Well, I mean, hopefully anybody, somebody in Brazil or somebody who speaks Portuguese is like, hey, listen to what did they say about the match. Sounds like more somebody.
Super Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm taking into consideration here when making my pick is Hobo has been out for almost 2 years, so there's ring rust. Not really sure why he's been out. He's 2 inches shorter. He's almost 4 inches. He's giving up 4 inches. Well, as a guy, that's a lot. They're fighting at lightweight. They're both around the same age, so I don't want to say I'm giving the edge to Jordan, but that's exactly what I'm doing. Even though Jordan Leavitt has no business getting any edge. I mean, it's really coming down to Matt Sayles, how well he's prepared for his comeback. But taking the fact that he's been out so long, you have to take that rust into consideration. So I'll say that Jordan Leavitt takes at least 2 rounds. Maybe Matt Sayles His ring rust only lasts a round and a half, 2 rounds, and maybe he gets a third. So I'll say Jourdain gets the split decision, like the 29-28 or something.
Next bout at heavyweight, Don'Tale Mayes versus Josh Parisian. And currently the odds have it in favor of Mayes at minus 200, comeback on Josh Parisian plus 170. Being that it's heavyweight, you always think maybe there's some value in the underdog. I don't think there's any value in Josh Parisian ever, ever, ever. Um, oh man, I don't want to kind of go off, but I will say this: I don't think he won that fight against Martinez, Roque Martinez. As much as it like pains me because I had money on Josh Parisian, I think that's why I'm kind of pissed off at him that he, in my opinion, lost that fight against Roque Martinez, the very short, very pudgy dude that got ragdolled by Romanov, and he looked really bad. Like he, despite the win, looks like he does not belong in the UFC. He doesn't have the skill. He has a lot of sizzle, but no steak. Like when he fought in the Contender Series, I'm like, wow, this guy's incredible. He's throwing spin and shit. And oh my god, he knocked out Chad Johnson. It's just like, oh shit, you get hyped and you want to see him in the UFC, but he gets beat up by Parker Porter, and you're like, man, you know what, Parker Porter, we haven't really seen him in a while. Maybe he's this, maybe he's that. So you kind of make excuses in your head, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going all in against him against Roque Martinez. He's gonna demolish Roque. And then Roque's popping off on him, and I'm like, Josh, what are you doing, Josh? What the fuck, Josh? Don'Tale Mayes, I will say this. The thing about Don'Tale, he came into the UFC from the Contender Series as well, kind of a brawler. Uh, Lost to Cyril Gahn by heel hook, and you're like, oh, what kind of a dude loses to a striker by heel hook? It's Cyril Gahn. You know, it's the better loss in someone's record right now, the undefeated interim champ. Then he loses to Rodrigo Nascimento. You know, that's not a great look either, but it is what it is. But he made the proper adjustments against Martinez. He also fought Roque Martinez. He won by a decision. I was a little pissed off on Mays' side because I thought he was going to win by knockout, but my mistake. Martinez got a good chin. He ended up getting the decision win. He didn't seem to be over anxious and wanting that knockout. He seemed to be a little bit more measured and used his fundamentals a lot better. I'm going to go with Don'Tale Mayes. I think this one's pretty easy for me. It's going to bite someone in the ass. So I think it could go either way. It's just the more downside is Josh Parisian. If he doesn't get the first round knockout, he's going to get his ass beat for the last 2 or 3 rounds, probably gets finished. I think he sucks. Don'Tale Mayes, he kind of sucks as well. And man, I hate to say that, man, but I think he's making proper improvements. So I'll go with him. He's a younger guy. He's going to be the taller guy by 2 inches. If he uses his weight, kind of tires out Josh Parisian, comes with a good game plan, I think he wins this one. Try not to just go for the knockout. He wins this one pretty easily. Also has a 2 inch reach advantage. He has a lot of power. Don'Tale Mayes, don't like the odds, but I'll go with Mayes to win this one by I want to say he knocks out Parisian, but I don't think that's the case. I think he's going to continue that measured approach. So I'll say decision.
Yeah, this is, I think, another fight to stay away from. The picture that Tapology has of Don'Tale Mayes um, sort of sums up my feelings about this fight. The expression on his face, that's exactly what I'm feeling when looking at, trying to pick this fight. Realistically, Don Mays, Don Mays. Yeah, is Dante. Wait, so his first name is Don Tail. It's not Don.
No.
His middle name is
Don'Tale. Don'Tale Mayes.
Okay, that was my mistake. So I'm just gonna call him Don. So Don has no business being a minus 200 favorite against anybody, really. Even against Josh Parisian. This is crazy, man. This is. I mean, I would normally say, the minus 200 on Don gives Josh some value just with regard to the odds, but that isn't the case here. There's no value betting on either of these guys. It's a lose-lose proposition. This is this is another one to stay away from. even if Dontel wins, this is, yeah, you don't want to. Well, here's the thing: you don't want to jump on the Dontel train. Be like, oh yeah, he won, he beat Josh Parisian, he's going to win his next fight. Now he's probably going to lose. Doesn't matter who he fights.
Oh, that's sad. That's a sad reality, but yeah, you might be right.
That's just the way it goes, man. He's yeah, I don't know. I guess they're like, hey, let's get these bottom two guys, and let's have it. Let's see who sucks more, and let's just cut him. So I think whoever loses here is probably going to get cut. Even I think more so Mays if he loses, but Josh Parisian, yeah. I mean, unless they're planning to like feed him to somebody, I don't see why they would keep him around. That's what it is for me. I'll go with Lord Kong just because I think, um, I think he was smarter and actually did beat Godzilla in that last movie. Before Mechagodzilla came along. So I'll just go with that. I'll go with Lord Kong by reluctant decision.
And before we begin the main card, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I really enjoy interacting with the community. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. I really like being challenged as well. So if you have any thoughts about the card, any thoughts about our predictions, let us know. Just don't be a dick. And if you're going to be a dick, at least be funny about it. So that's all I have to say about that. I want to get into these main card fights. The opening fight at lightweight, Diego Ferreira versus Mateus Gamrot. Gamrot. And currently the odds have it in favor of Mateus Gamrot, minus 180, come back on Ferreira, plus 155. It's a very interesting bout. Unfortunately, though, Ferreira's on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost to Beneil Dariush by split decision, and he had a really great back and forth with Gregor Gillespie. And unfortunately, he lost that one. It was a great fight, but it showed more of Gregor's toughness and willingness to win, just kind of grinding through, than really it showed anything from Diego. It's unfortunate that I think they're trying to feed Ferreira to Gamrot to kind of push him up. Gamrot has one loss ever, and that was in the UFC to Guram Kutteladze. Great fight. I'm still waiting to see where the fuck Kutteladze is. I'm very excited to see him back in the UFC, but at this moment, he's getting lapped, getting lapped just like in Mario Kart. Like, dude, where the fuck you at? Ferreira, though, man, he's 36 years old. He's really showing his age as of his last fight. I think his biggest hurrah was against Anthony Pettis, and that's not even a great win anymore, the former champ, but he's out of the UFC. He's in PFL. He's not doing great in PFL. Had he beaten, I don't know, maybe Baby Pettis, I'd be like, oh, wow, this guy's still got it. But at 36 years old, although he's going to have the reach advantage by about 3.5 inches, the younger guy here, Mateus Gamrot, the way he's been performing, although he hasn't beaten top tier competition as of late, he beat Jeremy Stevens and he knocked out Scott Holtzman. And to this day, I still remember that Scott Holtzman knockout. I'm eating an ice cream cone and he knocks him out and it like falls out of my hand because I was like in shock and it like lands in my crotch. So I'm like, oh, I'll never forget that. That's one of those moments of MMA that like I always remember and it makes me smile. Like, oh, I dropped ice cream on my crotch. But for Ferreira, although he's very skilled, that age has been catching up with him. I don't want to say I don't see value in him when it comes to the odds because him at an underdog, it's always nice. He, of course, can maybe get a I don't even know what to say. I don't think he can submit or knock out Gamrot. Oh man, I guess I don't want to admit that there's no value in Ferreira, but I'm going to go with Gamrot with this one. I'll say he wins this one by a decision. I don't think he knocks out Ferreira. He's going to definitely mix it up on the feet and his takedowns. I think Gamrot's a very good wrestler, very top tier wrestler. As we saw against Gillespie, that grappling really exhausted him, but he did miss weight. Yeah, it's a tough one. What am I saying? It's not tough at all. But yeah, I'll go with Gamrot by decision. I think he's going to mix it up well enough and just pull out the decision win. And it sucks to see that Ferreira is going to be on a 3-fight losing streak. So I don't know if they'll keep him around. Maybe he can go back to he can go to PFL and beat Anthony Pettis again. And yeah, we'll see. But I'll go Gamrot decision.
Oh man, you stole my line.
Really?
Because my whole thing is this is actually If the odds stay like, let's say money comes, if money comes in on Diego Ferreira, that means, um, that the odds are going to get better for Gamrot. But I don't know if there's going to be a lot of money coming in on this fight anyway. So as long as it's under minus 200 for Gamrot, I think it's a pretty good deal. Because he should be at least like a minus 220, 250 favorite against Diego. And this will probably be his third and final loss in the UFC. His third straight loss, his final loss in the UFC. And yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna he's gonna be in the PFL next year. He's gonna, be in the B. He's gonna meet he's gonna meet Anthony Pettis in the finals of the PFL for the lightweight championship, and he's gonna be the PFL champion by this time next year. Man, you beat me to the punch.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say Anthony Pettis ain't going to no finals in PFL.
Well, we can all dream, right? But yeah, no, this is Gamrot's fight. This is his fight to lose. If he loses, then yeah, he should get kicked out of the UFC. But yeah, I think Diego's on the what is it? Is it the chopping board, the chopping block,
Yep.
Cutting block? He's on something, and he's gonna get cut. So. He's either going to get cut or he's going to get shanked. But either way, the UFC is going to cut ties with him. I don't know how many more times, I don't know how many other ways I can say that, but he's done. You can stick a fork in him. So yeah, I'm going with Gamrot, probably by decision. I don't believe he'll be able to finish, but I think he's winning.
Our next bout at strawweight, we've got Amanda Lemos versus Angela Overhype Hill. Over Kill Hill. Currently, the odds have it in favor of, well, I don't even need to see him, but holy shit. This is the first time I'm looking at the odds. I already knew Amanda was going to be the favorite, but she's minus 410. Come back on Angela Hill plus 310. And this is from DraftKings, the odds, that is. It's pretty spot on. I hate those odds, but Amanda Lemos is going to win this one by decision. As I mentioned, Angela Hills, I think she's a bit overrated. And by that, I mean, I don't think anyone here is like, oh, Angela Hill's going to be the next champ, or Angela Hill's going to do this, or Angela Hill's going to do that. But I think that's going to sound really bad, but people thinking that she is UFC caliber still, even though she has some UFC wins, I think that within itself is a bit of a overhype. She's solid, but she is in a division with some pretty solid females, man. I just don't think she pairs up. Anytime she gets any bit of better competition, she ends up losing. Tisha Torres destroyed her the second fight. Her last win was against Ashley Yoder, and Ashley Yoder is one of these girls on the chopping block. Lost to Michelle Watterson, lost to Claudia Gadelha, and those were the two final hurrahs for the 36-year-old Angela Hill. She's currently like a UFC analyst, but anyways, back to those two fights. The two fights in question, the split decisions to Claudia Gadelha and Michelle Watterson. A lot of people thought that she won both those fights. Had she have won the Gadelha fight, I think it would have put her in a spot, maybe, possibly. It's even hard for me to say it. I just don't think it would have done her much good. I think her losing that fight was better than her winning that fight, because had she won that fight, they would have given her someone better and she would have gotten demolished. So the hype that, oh, she beat Claudia, they screwed her out of that win, I think that was better for her overall. The Michelle Watterson loss, that was a straight loss. She didn't win. Her striking's good. I will say that her striking's very good. I think she's a solid competitor. It's just that she's not going to beat Amanda Lemos. Amanda Lemos is on a different level. The way she's knocking girls out, knocks out the Montserrat Ruiz. I know it's Montserrat, but it's Montserrat from now on with a counter right. She knocks out. I still laugh at that knockout. The Lavina Souza by a jab. She just falls to the ground. It's hilarious to me. And yeah, she's very solid, man. This girl, minus 410. It's accurate, but not the best. Although her only loss is to Leslie Smith. That was at a higher weight class. So that's in the past. At the very moment, she's better. If she doesn't finish Angela Hill, she is going to decision her. I will go Amanda Lemos by decision.
Yeah, it's funny. You mean she beat her by jab, kind of how the other Amanda got beat by jabs tonight.
That was so stupid. You bring it up. She was landing jab after jab and like sloppy punches. I'm like, oh god, Amanda. I
Yeah,
just knew right then and there, like Amanda's gonna quit. Something's wrong.
yeah. I'm like, Jesus. So the key to beating Nunes this whole time was just not knowing how to fight.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's like, okay, here's a game plan. Throw punches, like you would in an alley with a blindfold, after spinning 10 times in each direction. Okay. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still in disbelief. And I'm like, Jesus, she's letting those, what you, what some people might refer to as strikes or punches, hit her. She's not moving. She's just kind of like looking at her. I don't know, man. I think I don't know if the UFC has vision insurance or something, but I think she should get her eyes checked. If she couldn't see those sloppy punches coming a mile away, then I don't know, man. She might need contacts or maybe LASIK or something, before her next fight. Jesus.
I do want to say a lot of people calling that an upset on paper via the odds, sure, but weren't no upset in my opinion. It wasn't like the biggest, craziest upset, like beating what's her face Ronda Rousey, what's her face Holly Holm knocking her out.
Um,
Logically, maybe not the biggest upset now that we know what we know, but at the time, the unstoppable Ronda.
hmm.
Although they call her the GOAT, I'll just leave it at that. It's just I don't think it was a huge upset.
I think the bigger upset was uh, Tate submitting Holly Holm. I think
Yes.
that was a pretty big upset. I was more upset that it wasn't me, her choking me, but me facing her. Like Meerschaert Tate choking me, but me facing her. Anyway,
So
that's another story.
so I'll take it you're going Amanda by decision as well.
Let's say I am. Yes.
Okay, great. Moving on, Darren Elkins versus Cub Swanson at featherweight. Interesting bout. I honestly did not recall that this fight was happening. Both older gentlemen, 38 years old for Cub Swanson, 37 for Darren Elkins. And currently the odds have it in favor of Cub Swanson. Minus 200 comeback on Elkins is plus 170. This one is interesting because Darren Elkins has that uncanny ability to get his ass beat and still continue to win. Cub Swanson, his striking, that's his key to victory. He has to, I guess, beat the shit out of Darren Elkins, but can he do that for 3 rounds and not get taken down and submitted? For being a black belt in jiu-jitsu, dude gets submitted quite a bit. Ooh, it's tough, man. It's tough to go with this one because I think Swanson he's good enough to beat a 37-year-old Darren Elkins. The only concern is that Darren Elkins does have that X factor of the as beat ability and the ability to come back and then submit you. Currently, he's on a 2-fight winning streak and finishes his both fights. He's not fighting younger, tougher competition. He's fighting 2021 Cub Swanson. Oh, it's tough, man. I got to go with the dog. I'll go with Darren Elkins. I'm not confident in this one at all. I'm going to enjoy watching it, definitely. But I think Darren Elkins gets Cub Swanson to the ground after Swanson kind of tires himself out. Actually, shit. The comeback, if I were to go with Swanson, is that he selects his shots and works to the body of Darren Elkins, kind of tires him out and ends up cruising to a decision. It's tough, man. Now that I think about it, there might be some value in going with Swanson by decision. It's tough for me. Officially, I'll go with Elkins. Probably going to bite me in the ass, but I'll go with a. I don't think he wins the decision. I think he'll probably get a finish. So I'll say maybe a rear naked choke in round number 2. But there's some value in Swanson to win this one by a decision. It's just really close for me. I just see there's too many possibilities in this one for Elkins to win by a finish after, getting his ass beat a bit, or Swanson just edging it out on the feet. It's really, man, I don't know. Whoever really wants this one the most, I think Elkins being on his winning streak, I think it's going to push him and propel him to try to get one more. As for Swanson, my concern with him and officially going with him, although I do think he has some value in winning by decision, I don't think he has it in him anymore. His last performances, he's been looking pretty decent, but him losing to Giga, I just saw something in him crumble, and I don't mean his liver. I just see something in him just no longer having that motivation to win. I think if he loses, he might retire. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I view it, but yeah, it's a close fight. But I'll go with Elkins second round sub.
Yeah, the thing with Cub is, as of late, he's been drinking his own cranberry juice,
Oh,
and I think he's anyway. Yeah,
it's a pretty
I'm not gonna
pretty
explain.
old reference. I'll just leave it
Yeah,
at that. I won't explain it.
he's yeah, man. I think Cub is in sort of cowboy Cerrone territory. Where he's just fighting because I guess it's all he knows.
Mhm.
He's nobody on his team, or kind of it's keeping it real with him, quote unquote. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean, it's just that when I guess when they can't compete to a certain level, I think it's time to give it up. He did. He's entertained. He's done what he loves to do. But as far as basically, I just don't want to see him take any more damage than he has to. Darren Elkins, on the other hand, he's a different animal, man. He's the true sort of definition of a dog, man. Because he will come back. He can get he can he can be get beaten down for a round and a half, 2 rounds, and then he'll come back and like just take over, man. And that's what I see happening here. I think Cub's going to come out strong in the first, but then Darren's going to come back in the second and take the third as well. I think I think it's going to be a 29-28 for Darren. Um, but I think Cub is done. I don't know how many fights he has left on his contract, but I think it's time for him to hang it up. It just, you know, I don't know. That's really the only thing, the only comparison I can make. He's in Donald Cerrone territory at the moment.
Next bout, bantamweight. Rafael Assuncao versus Hickey Simon. And the odds have it in favor of Simon minus 275, come back on Assuncao plus 220. Crazy to think that at one point Rafael Assuncao was going to fight for the title, and it just never materialized at bantamweight. Currently riding a 3-fight skid, lost to Marlon Moraes by submission, lost to Corey Sandhagen by decision, and he got knocked out by Cody Garbage, which was what, a year ago? Sunsal's 39 years old. That's all I really have to say. He's still very dangerous. His striking's very good. His speed is not. His grappling is very solid as well. But I think Ricky Simon, being the younger guy, the guy with frankly more power, more energy, takedowns, wrestling, I think he's going to win this one by a decision. He just has to avoid getting caught in a guillotine or getting really cracked, like Uriah Faber cracked him. Still kind of butthurt about that a little bit, that Ricky Simon got knocked out by Uriah Faber. But yeah, I think Ricky's going to take this one by decision. Dude's very powerful, as we saw with his fight against not Brian Kelleher. I forgot who he fought. Oh, Ronnie Yaya. He just mercilessly big brothered him and bullied him. Just picked him up and dropped him on the ground. It was incredible to see. He did fight Brian Kelleher, so we know that he can avoid getting guillotined. That was probably my biggest concern as he's fighting Rafael Assuncao, that he's going to leave his neck exposed. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's just going to cruise to a decision. Again, it's more Ricky's fight to lose, but going with the decision prop, I think that would be the most wise prediction. So I'll go with Simon to win a 30-27 decision.
Yeah, I think yeah, man. Rafael is, excuse me, also I think in Cowboy Cerrone territory in that, well, the fact that he's almost 40. I don't know what his contract looks like, but this being his fourth loss, I think we're probably gonna see Rafael in the PFL. I don't know. Do they have a bantamweight tournament in the PFL?
I think so.
But anyway, we'll probably see Rafael in there, or I don't know how he feels about BKFC. But who knows? Maybe he might make more money wherever he goes. I'm pretty sure he'll make more money than he is in the UFC anyway, because apparently Mike Perry made what, $250,000 or something
For that triad bullshit.
something like that.
Yeah. Well,
And
good
I
for
was
him.
like, yeah, good for him. So if he can make that, pretty sure Rafael can make something close to that. Something, who knows? But I wish Rafael all the luck after this. But yeah, Ricky Simon's definitely coming away with the victory here. I could have sworn that Ricky Simon trained at a Team Alpha Midget. I don't know why, but
He gives off that vibe, doesn't he? But no, he doesn't.
yeah, I don't know. I guess in my mind, everybody in the 135 and 125 divisions trains in Team Alpha Midget. Anyway, yeah. So Ricky Simon, he has the power of having his last name, having his last name be an actual first name or something. It's like Ricky Bobby, Ricky Simon, Ricky Michael. He has the power of two first names, so he's going to use that, I think, to the fullest extent to probably knock out Rafael Assuncao. I know it's been a year and change, but that was bad, man. I mean, the picture that they're using in Tapology, that says it all for Rafael.
Next bout, co-main event at welterweight, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad. And currently the odds are in favor of Wonderboy minus 250, come back on Muhammad plus 200. I don't often say that there are easy fights in the UFC, but I think this is going to be Stephen Thompson's probably one of his easier fights. I don't know really what more to say. I don't think Bilal brings anything to the table that's going to be a threat to Wonderboy. The only threat to Wonderboy is his age and his inability to really stuff the takedown. Bilal's going to have to really, really just shoot for the legs. Like, I don't want to get vulgar, but I'll just say that his mouth has to be a magnet to Wonderboy's region and just start chomping at the bit. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have to go for those legs. Thompson has fought the way better competition, beat the way better competition. I mean, I don't know what to say. I would be shocked if Bilal beats Thompson, if he takes him down, controls him. Thompson's takedown defense has gotten significantly better ever since he started plowing Weidman's sister.
Really?
Jesus Christ. I'm an idiot. But yeah, they're I think brother-in-laws. I think if I remember correctly, Stephen Thompson married Weidman's sister, so they're related. So they're like, he's obviously working his takedown defense. Didn't serve him well against Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns, I guess he just really wanted to win. He did everything in his power. And that's when I kind of worried. I'm like, man, maybe Thompson's kind of getting old. But man, Bilal Muhammad, the thing about him is that I don't think he's ever going to be top 10. Unfortunately, right now he's number 11, and he's not going to crack that top 10. If he does, he's going to be in a world of shit because the top 10 at welterweight's going to beat his ass. I don't think he does anything particularly well. He has the cardio. He has decent enough striking. His takedowns are good. He has one submission win, just one finish in the UFC against Takashi Saito. The thing about it is that he can beat certain level competition, the Lyman Goods of the world, the Diego Lemos of the world. I don't know how he beat Damian Maia. I don't know how he did it. I thought he could have lost that one. I know he beat Damian Maia, like it was cut and dry. He beat him 2-1, if I remember correctly. But getting in a chance to show off your flexibility because he was stuffing a takedown, it was like you didn't really do much to beat Damian Maia. And Damian Maia was, he's on his way to retiring. If he beats Wonderboy, I don't know. I don't know what I would do, but I got Wonderboy to win this one. I'll say by a decision just him doing Wonder Boy shit. And I think he wins this one by a decision pretty comfortably.
Yeah, this isn't. I would say Wonder Boy is getting close to Donald Cerrone territory. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can. He can still compete in like with maybe the top. Anybody in the top 25 of the welterweight division, but he's just in there to eke out wins. He lost to Gilbert Burns, sure, but Gilbert, whatever. I don't like Gilbert Burns. He did beat Neal and Luque; those were okay. But then he losing to Anthony Pettis. Jesus, what the hell went on there? And losing to Darren Till. Yeah, those were several years ago, but still, Yeah, Bilal Muhammad. I don't think he's how best to put it without insulting him. Well, I don't really care. So he's very basic. If this was TikTok, he'd be doing those stupid dances, or those stupid videos where he pretends he's two different people, just by turning the camera. He's very basic. He'd be wearing a sundress in the park if this was Instagram, and having his boyfriend take pictures of him in the park wearing a sundress. Anyway, that's because that's what basic girls do. They take pictures in the park wearing sundresses. Yeah, so I don't think Muhammad has very much to offer in terms of what. This is basically Wonder Boy's fight to lose. If he loses, it's going to be because he wants to lose. But as far as skill set, yeah, I don't think Bilal has too much to offer. I think the odds are okay. I mean, I think it's a little high, just because Muhammad does have a chance to win, I guess, somewhat. Or there's always a small chance, but yeah, Muhammad has proved that he can't. I wouldn't call Wonder Boy elite, but like some of the top guys, he can't. I don't know. I don't think Muhammad's ever going to fight for. That's funny. I just thought that unless. Wait, is Leon Edwards the next guy for the welterweight title? Is that the fight?
He should be, but I'm hearing rumblings that he's not. Like they got something else in mind for him. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's funny because I was going to say him and Leon are probably going to be the only two guys either to never, where him and Leon, share a common destiny, in that they're both never going to win a title. But I don't know, maybe. Maybe they're also going to share destiny. If Leon doesn't fight for the title this time around, I guess they're both going to share that same destiny as well. It's kind of funny. It sucks for Leon, but I don't know, man. That guy's cursed. Jesus.
Yeah, he can't catch a break. He comes back and he's beating the shit out of Bilal Muhammad, but he ends up, digging his fucking index finger into his eye socket and gets called off. And that's kind of part of the reason why I'm like, Bilal's not elite that particular fight. Him getting his eye gouged, that was the best thing for him, because he was on his way to getting his ass destroyed, because not good. And as for Leon, the streak continues of him having bad luck. He's beating the shit out of Nate Diaz, and then oh my god, it's sad that like a legion of Nate Diaz fans, they consider that a win for him. And for hilarity's sake, I do too. It's pretty damn funny that he ended up basically knocking out Leon on the feet. It was just hilarious as shit to see. But yeah, poor Leon. He's I guess it is what it is. I was gonna say he kind of deserves it, but whatever. I don't really necessarily care.
Yeah, just kind of like this fight.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. You had Thompson by decision as well. You think he's gonna knock out Muhammad?
No, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think either guy's gonna. I think it's gonna be a boring sparring match. It's gonna be a decision. For Wonder Boy.
Moving on, main event heavyweight, Black Beast Derrick Lewis versus Chris Daukaus. Currently, the odds have it in favor of Daukaus minus 140. Come back on Lewis plus 120. Crazy to think, man. Anytime Derrick loses an underdog, he kind of pulls it out of his ass, man. Interesting fight at heavyweight. This is obviously the best fight of the card. It's the main event, but I think if you put this one on any other fight card, maybe it's the co-main or maybe the opener to the main card, I think it might still be one of the more interesting bouts, because we've got a very solid striker in Chris Daukaus, very good with the punches, with the boxing, I should say, very fast on the feet. and we have Derrick Lewis, just godly like power in those hands and his ability to swing and bang. Dude's pretty obviously fat, but he's very athletic, man. He's very deceptively fast in there. And the thing about this fight is that although Chris Daukaus, I think he has the better striking. I think he's more technical in there. And Black Beast is known to lose to the better strikers. If you look at his record, anytime he fights a significantly better striker, he ends up getting TKO'd himself. As for example, Cyril Gahn, I thought that was one of the easiest picks because Cyril Gahn, despite what he did to him, I thought he's the way better striker. I don't think Derrick Lewis is going to touch him. He lost or was losing, I should say. He was losing to Volkov, and then he ended up getting that Hail Mary knockout win, and he loses to Junior Dos Santos by TKO, Mark Hunt by TKO. So odds are Chris Daukaus knocks him out later in the rounds, gets him tired, maybe second, third round TKOs. But what worries me about this particular fight was the fight with Chris Daukaus and Shamil Abdurakhimov. Abdurakhimov, despite his age, he was swanging and banging, and he was landing on Daukaus. And I'm like concerned out of my mind because I had Daukaus to win on a parlay, and I needed him by either. I had two. I needed him to win, and one for him to win by finish. And him getting like cracked by Abdurakhimov was super concerning. I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck is he? Is he gonna get cracked? Why is his defense not that great? If Derrick Lewis connects on a wild swing and punch, I don't think Chris Daukaus is going to eat it. So I am worried about it. I am worried that Chris Daukaus, being the better fighter, is going to get destroyed by Derrick Lewis. He does it. He pulls it out of his ass. For that particular reason, I'm going to go with Derrick Lewis. I think Chris Daukaus is the better fighter, the better striker. That doesn't matter though with Derrick Lewis. I'm not picking Derrick Lewis because of necessarily the power. I'm picking Derrick Lewis because of the power and that one tendency that I saw with Chris Daukaus to not do well when guys bum rush him. Like he just didn't know. I don't want to say he didn't know. It just he didn't react as quickly as I would want him to. Moving forward, I think he reacts very well, but being pushed back, I don't like it. It's a risky pick on my part because Derrick Lewis, if Derrick Lewis doesn't perform, he's going to just back away. He's going to kind of do the Tyron Woodley a little bit. But I think after losing that fight in his hometown, I think he's going to want to come back and want to get a spectacular knockout. And I think he has it in him. I'll go with Derrick Lewis to win this one. I'm going to say by a second round knockout. I think he's going to knock the fuck out of Chris Daukaus, which sucks because I like Chris and I like what he does in there. But it's just logically, man. Logically, Derrick Lewis does the illogical, so I'll go with him to win this one by a second round knockout.
Funny thing, I'm expecting. I should say two funny things that I just thought of. I'm expecting Derrick Lewis to somehow work, defund the police into one of his tirades.
It should be fucking funny, dude. If he knocks him out, like I just defunded the police. I'm like, oh, yeah. What a fucking dick.
He's gonna. I get the feeling he's gonna work that somehow.
That'd be fucking funny, dude.
And I think Chris Daukaus is gonna come out both to the theme song as well as wearing the big boss man's costume. When he walks out, he's gonna have that. He's gonna have that baton ready. He's gonna have that baton ready to go.
Dude, that actually makes a lot of sense because if Derrick Lewis beats Chris Daukaus, he will literally be defunding half of his purse.
Yeah.
I hate to have to explain it, but it's fucking funny. It's brilliant.
Anyway, that's what I've been thinking of this whole time. Can't get it. But yeah, you do have a point. Derrick Lewis, he does do well as an underdog. And, he does have that, where he pulls a victory out of his ass, at the end when he's getting lit up. I was going to mention this as well. What did worry me about Daukaus was that Shamil was actually outboxing him going into the, I think, first and second round.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, if Shamil can outbox him, imagine what somebody with some real power can do. And that's where Derrick Lewis comes in. So I'm not counting Derrick out. I mean, technically, I think Chris is definitely the better technical striker. And well, there's two things. Chris is the better technical striker, and I think he's better on the ground. But Derrick Lewis is more explosive and he has more power. So I think if he catches Chris, oh, he's definitely working some of that defunding the police bit into his speech.
Yeah.
But you know, if he just kind of lets Chris do his thing and doesn't explode or doesn't do his thing, then yeah, it's going to be a long night for him. But they're about the same. They're about the same size.
Well, I think Derrick Lewis is way bigger, dude. Like in the sense of like,
I should say they're the same height. You know, rather. Yeah, Derrick Lewis is a lot bigger. He's going to outweigh him by at least 30 pounds. So there's that. You know, so if Chris does get him on the ground, there is that explosiveness. Unless Chris has like, you know, chain wrestling or gets him on the ground, you know, at least once or twice each round, it's going to wear out Derrick. He's gonna explode out of it in the first, maybe the second round. But if he gets him on the ground in the third, fourth, and fifth, that's it for Derrick. You know, he's gonna have maybe those one or two explosive moments, you know, where he might play possum and then just go for it.
I was gonna ask you, dude, have you ever seen that video of Derrick Lewis? Well, I'll preface it by saying Derrick Lewis in the past used to say like jiu-jitsu doesn't work. Why don't you just get up? And I remember thinking when he first came to the UFC, like, this fucking idiot doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. Like, you know, being one of those pansy boys, like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Jiu-jitsu's an art. Then there's a video of him literally getting taken down and people are trying like submissions on him. And he literally just gets up, like, no problem. Like, it doesn't work on him. Jiu-jitsu does not work on Derrick Lewis. He just gets up. It's like a fucking 3-minute video of him just getting up from the ground. Like, no problem at all. It's fucking hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah, this one's a hard one to pick. I know Derrick just lost to Ain, but that's, you know, this guy's fighting for the title, and I think, you know, that's another discussion. But other than that, man, I think I actually have Derrick Lewis here, winning by knockout. I think he's going to be the bigger, more powerful guy. I think he's going to use that to his advantage, and he's going to use that. Chris is going to feel that black power one way or another in that fight, and then he's going to, you know, when he goes back to the police station on Monday, you know, everybody's just going to nod their head, you know, in disappointment at Chris Daukaus.
I was gonna say they're gonna find a kilo of cocaine in his car. Like, what is this, Chris?
That's funny.
But yeah,
yeah. I think what they're trying to do long term is to somehow set up a Chris Daukaus. What's his name? The guy who we need a translator for. He used to be champion.
Stipe.
Stipe. Yeah.
Oh, I
see.
See.
The whole firefighter versus cop thing.
Yeah.
It's like, who should we really defund? You know, I don't know. I think maybe long term that's what they want, you know, to build up Chris, and then
it's not a bad idea.
You know, I think maybe he will fight, you know, Stipe at some point, because Stipe can't hold out to, you know, where he's only fighting for the title. He lost. Come on, you gotta go out there, win a fight, and then I think Derrick Lewis versus Stipe would be pretty good.
I would love to see. I mean, if Derrick Lewis wins this one, I think that would be the fight to make. Other than, you know, Stipe holding out for that fourth Daniel Cormier fight, but yeah, oh man. But I think you're right on the money. Now that you say it like that, that matchup would be kind of cool, just with the whole shit behind it. If Chris Daukaus wins, but that might be pushing him a little too quickly. He's currently number 9. For him to fight the former champion. I'm still waiting on the matchup between him and Tom Aspinall, but frankly, I think Tom right now beats him. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I was looking forward to the Ngannou Gain event in Anaheim, but then I took a look at ticket prices and I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah,
nosebleeds are almost $300. So I was like,
damn. I thought about going out there, but I'm like, I don't really want to travel right now. I'm kind of tired of traveling.
That's probably the first time where I'm like, you know what? It actually would be worth it just to pay for the pay-per-view.
Don't you always pay for the pay-per-view, Jose?
Yeah, no, but I mean, this time it would be worth it to pay for the pay-per-view.
I see.
Theoretically.
Of course.
Theoretically.
But those have been our picks for UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Daukaus. Let us know what you think about the predictions down in the comments below. But that's been Johnny and Jose, Tiger Bomb MMA, and we'll catch you at the next fight.